Hello, friends. Let me start my video right here. Hey, I'm Holly Elissa, Holly Elissa Bruno. I wrote a book called Translating Trauma's Harsh Legacy into Healing. It's also called Happiness is Running Through the Streets to Find You. And I'm going to record this very briefly on Inauguration Day in the United States of America. I've just finished recording with Denise Rokicki. Trauma survivors walking each other home. And I hope that that has been recorded. If it hasn't, I'm recording this briefly because I want us to have something on the record for this Inauguration Day, 2025. Today, in the United States, much has changed. And whoever you are listening, whatever your belief system is, whether you're happy with the inauguration, wherever you are, you have a right to be part of this program. Trauma survivors come in every shape and every belief system. Trauma survivors come in many forms. One of the forms is we are victims. We are victims to people who traumatize us. Notice I did that with my hand because there was violence. There is violence, physical violence, emotional violence, spiritual violence, psychological violence, all kinds of violence to trauma survivors. And those who are traumatized are the victims of that. All trauma survivors also become, and here's the alternative to becoming victims, we can become traumatizers ourselves. And so, when we become traumatizers ourselves, we become the people who cause the harm. We become the people who hurt people. After all, as the 12-step saying goes, hurt people hurt people. Many professionals in the world of psychology have said that the current president is a narcissist, a toxic narcissist. And they've said other things about him, a sociopath. If we just look at narcissism and accept that as a fact, what do we know about a president who is a narcissist? Well, it's what we know about narcissists. Narcissists have no capacity for empathy. Narcissists are all about their own power and preserving their own power. Narcissists are about hurting and bullying people because that's the way they maintain power. Narcissists are about harming other people. Narcissists are about shaming and blaming other people. Narcissists are about never accepting responsibility for themselves. Narcissists are about ruining. They are not about building up. Narcissists are about causing trauma. They are not about alleviating trauma. I was raised by a narcissist. I devoted decades of my life to trying to find the goodness in him. I assumed deep down there was a good person in there. I wanted to see it. I wanted to find it. I remember the one time he smiled at me when I was a child. And I remember decades ago talking with a therapist about that and saying, I remember the one time my father was happy with me. And her response was wise. She said, look, it's amazing that trauma survivors always remember those few moments when we felt seen, when we felt heard. We remember those moments and we live for them. And when I heard that, I began to feel the grief that I had a right to feel. And that grief was, yes, every child deserves love. Every child deserves to be seen. Every child deserves to develop her own voice and to unfold, as my friend Susan Twombly said. an expert in early childhood education, Susan Twomley, said, we are here to help each child unfold and to become who she's meant to be. Traumatized children don't unfold, we encapsulate. My father taught me to encapsulate. Thank God I could escape to the out of doors. And now so much research is flooding in about how 10 minutes out of doors, being amongst the trees, being amongst the flowers, being amongst the bird song, being amongst the scent of pine needles, being next to water flowing, these heal us. These heal us. And I honestly believe that those forces in my life, which actually were close to one half, if not the majority of my life, I lived out of doors. That saved me and heals my soul. And today it still heals me. I still use vinegar that I made from chives that I grew in my garden, chive blossoms. And when I use that vinegar on a salad, I smell and picture the chive, those beautiful pink chive blossoms, and the vinegar is pink. That's just one way in which I bring the out of doors every day inside. I make pesto. As part of my Sicilian genes, I grind up garlic and fresh basil from my garden. I have an abundance of fresh basil and pecorino romano cheese and evu, the extra virgin olive oil and some red pepper and a grind of salt. And I make pesto. And then throughout the winter months, I put the fresh basil leaves on my food in the form of pesto. So, my friends, I've just got notification that the recording that we did is live. And so we will be, Denise Rokiki and I, two trauma survivors walking each other home. That program will be available, and so will this program be available. So I want you to know that on this day, Inauguration Day, the 20th of January, 2025, our lives in this country of America are changing. Things are not safe. The Constitution is no longer assured. The tripartite system, the balance of power, that's gone. We have much to fight for. And as my friend Dr. Valora Washington, a survivor of many things, and a person who is of color, a person with an African heritage, said, for 500 years, we have been working and we'll keep working. As a trauma survivors everywhere, for eons, we have been working to set the world free by setting ourselves free, and we are not quitting. And this program will continue. We will keep telling the truth, and we invite you to join us. And so on this inaugural day, when trauma was restored, the threat, the bullying is restored. May we have the grace, the courage to be true to ourselves and to live a life of promise and love rather than retreat and encapsulate into the fear that we were taught was the only safe place. You'll end with something from Dorothy Parker. It's wise us, and it gives me hope. Yeah, she self-medicated with alcohol, but she also wrote poetry. And here's what she said. In youth, it was a way I had to do my best to please. I changed with every passing lad to suit his theories. But now I know the things I know, and I do the things I do. And if You do not like me, so to hell, my love, with you. Join us every week. Trauma survivors walking each other home. I'm Holly Elissa Bruno.